number 3, I think. Yeah, we're on 3. I get so lost in between the episodes, but welcome to episode number 3 of the Benchwarmers Perspective. Today, I'm joined by Trent Felt, current JV boys basketball coach at Montague, but I think better known for his role in many of the 2014 basketball Shelby greatness, as you could say.
Wait, did you say 2014? I appreciate that. I really do. Let's take that back a few years, 2010.
2010.
That's the senior
My bad.
year. Hey, I like that, though.
I remembered. I just remember. Thought I remembered 2014. My bad.
2010. I felt a little better at 29 than 33. So, hey, but I appreciate that, Connor. 2010.
2010. So, tell me a little bit about yourself. I mean, I obviously know you pretty well, but tell me about Shelby and the growing up there and then what you did after high school, because I know you played a pretty high level of baseball as well. Tell me a little bit about that. Tell the viewers a little bit.
Yeah, so as you said, I do coach JV basketball at Montague. I also coach JV baseball currently as well, so I do stay pretty busy with that. Born and raised, I'm a local guy, born and raised in Shelby, New Era, if we're being specific, but went to Shelby. So kind of grew up in a culture of sports, I guess you can say. I was always playing, my dad was always having me out playing sports, playing football, basketball, baseball, soccer, taking me to the golf course, right? I just feel like I kind of grew up in a community of sports, which does make Montague feel like, like a second home, because I get that vibe kind of here from a lot of people as well. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I grew up in Shelby. 2010 senior year, so kind of grew up. I know a lot of people know that Shelby was pretty successful at basketball in that time. Coach Zulik was winning a lot of games, really a lot of teams, and that started, I think, even back in the 90s, right, when he was really started to get onto the scene and put Shelby basketball on the map. But people actually forget there was a little dry spell from 2005 to 2010 where Shelby actually did not win a conference championship.
Really?
As we know, like, there were some really good teams. North Muskegon, I know Namick rolled through there, right? And they had some really good teams in the 2000s. Montague, right, when Dave took over. And they obviously had some really good teams there at the end as well. So there was a stretch there that where Shelby, we were kind of, I don't think we were bad, but we were always kind of in the middle of the conference. And we kind of made it our point where we're like, okay, we're going to get this title back, right? Like, we're going to bring this title back to Shelby. And I don't know, you've been to Shelby's gym a lot, but you go to Shelby, what's the first thing that stands out? All those banners, right?
Actually, I would say the first thing that I notice is how ginormous their gym is for a population of like less than 2,000.
Yeah, so for a school that nowadays I think is under 400, right? Under 400 students.
Yeah.
When we were there, I had a very large class, I think about 160 students. So we were actually a really small Class B school when I was there. But yeah, it's just like you go in there and you're just like, wow, 3 full courts.
Yeah, it's huge for a school that size. Like, it is giant.
It is. And like, it's such a big space when the bleachers aren't down and you see three, and you have the freshman team practicing and the JV team practicing and the varsity team practicing all at the same time. So that was kind of cool. I always thought in terms of program alignment and stuff like that, Rick always was able to have an eye on people. So I get what you're saying, like the vastness of Shelby and that the investment they made, and that just shows that, like, I think that school was built around 2000, roughly. I think is right around when the high school was built at Shelby.
Like that.
And I think it's not uncorrelated that Shelby started to have a lot of basketball success. I mean, I remember guys like Aaron Gowell leading some really good Shelby teams in like 02, 03, right? Josh Wright, some really good players that won some titles. But yeah, we did have a stretch there from 05 to 10 where we didn't win. And obviously, I think a lot of people here in Montague know that, like, in 2010, the Montague Wildcats, they had some talent.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I mean,
08, 09, 10, and 11, I think, were absolutely insane years.
Stacked classes, right? I mean, I know in my class at Montague, everyone knows Cody Cater. Everyone knows the type of athlete and football player he was. A lot of people don't realize that guy could hoop. Right?
Yeah, he still can.
I'm sure he still can, right? I mean, that kid, 6'3", 6'4"?
Yeah.
Incredible shooting touch.
Oh, yeah.
Guy had bounce. Guy could dribble the rock. Guy could play point guard at 6'4", or he could go into the post, right? Like, So great athlete, but a lot of people forget, like, there were a lot of other good athletes that he got to play with, right? Like guys like Matt Dion was an incredibly good athlete in that class. A year younger than him, but playing with him, like Anthony Root, incredible speed, great athlete. Brandon Moore, right? A little bit younger, but still was on that team, right? As an underclass.
Have you seen his dunk reel?
Oh, dude, I was, well, he had,
I got
to witness a couple of those.
Yeah.
I mean, we played at Montague my senior year. Off the tip, they go down. They have a really good play. Dave's got a nice play set up. They kick it to Cody, right? Cater runs down to the right wing. He shoots a 3, misses it. Didn't happen a lot. Missed it. Brandon, who had won the tip, went straight down the middle, rim run, grabbed the ball out of the air, and just slammed it on us to start the game. 2-0 Montague. I'm looking at my buddies like, oh boy, this could be a night right here, boys. So yeah, that's an athlete right there. And they had more, right? Like you said, like 08, 09 kids like Pash, right? Jeff Pash, Michael Mack, right? I think that kid was like 6'8" and could ball out. Like there was a lot of good athletes at that time at Montague for sure. So like if we were to get that title back at Shelby, it wasn't going to be easy.
No,
there was no doubt about it. In fact, our junior year, they swept us, and then I believe went all the way to the semifinals.
They did go to the semis. Yeah, 09. Yep.
And then what after they won the football championship that year?
Yep, so they won the state. They won the state finals for. I'm trying to remember who they beat in the finals. I don't remember.
I'm trying to remember too. I know I used to watch. I would obviously watch those teams play.
And then in basketball they went 20-0. That 09.
That would have been the 08-09 year.
Yeah. Yep. They went 20-0 and won the final, and then both those years, and they didn't go 20-0 both years, but and then they went to the semis for basketball
for sure. Yeah. So I mean, and they were talking, and I know they might have. I think they did lose a couple players off that team. I know like Michael Mack was a year above me, and I think they're starting center. But then I think they brought in a kid that was just as big, Paul Lombard. I think that dude was like 6'7", 6'8". So like they certainly weren't lacking for talent in 2010.
Definitely,
right, for sure. What a in that at Shelby we kind of had a history with them. I mean, dating back to middle school, right? And like everyone's like, oh, it's middle school, but hey, in middle school sports, that matters to middle schoolers, right? Like that matters. And that sets a tone for where you're going to go. And obviously, those kids were, I think, they were undefeated in middle school. I don't think they ever lost. They were definitely better than we were at Shelby. But our 8th grade year championship game, I think we beat them. Were we better than them? Definitely not. But we, made some shots. They didn't. We beat them, and it kind of just gave us a little confidence. That's like, you know what? Maybe we can take these guys in high school. Like maybe these guys really big and athletic, but maybe like we can. The sum of our team can be better than the sum of their team, even if they're better athletically than us, man for man, right? So yeah, we definitely had some fun time preparing for that, battling for that. And I remember the first game at Shelby we played them. I remember talking with my buddies at lunch, and a couple of my buddies are like, man, I kind of just want this game to be done and over with. And I'm like, why? And they're like, I'm nervous. And I'm like, why are you nervous? And they're like, well, it's Montague. And I'm like, and they're like, this is the team we got to beat. And I'm like, you're right. So let's take that nervous energy and let's go achieve the goal tonight. Like, let's go do the job. I just remember having that conversation with guys at lunch and then being like, I'm like, what do we have to lose, guys? It's high school. Like, this is our shot. Let's go take it. And I just kind of remember going into that game and we were all just kind of like, like we know this is tough. We know what these guys are about. We've seen these guys play football. We've seen these guys hoop, but we also know that we can get after it. We know the type of work that we put in. I remember since 2nd grade playing basketball with Chuck Personaire, the old JV coach. His kid was in my grade. So working our way all the way up through. I'm like, guys, we balled together for 10 years. We got a chance at this, right? And I do remember playing them in at Shelby the first game. I think we were down most of the game. I'm pretty sure, they were a pretty good squad. They were up most of the game on us. I think it came down till there was about 10 seconds left. We call a timeout. I think we're down by 1. Coach calls a play. I think we had a really good forward center player named Taylor Herron. He went and played basketball up in Muskegon Community. I think we drew a play up for him, try to get him in a little screen action down low, get the ball on the block, 2 points, get the lead. But I think Dave kind of knew that was coming, right? I mean, Dave knew his ball. I think if I recall, they double teamed him, right? So they swung the ball to me. And they kind of put the dub on him, which means my guy was sagging off, right? I never needed an invitation to shoot, right? I know you know that, right? Hey, you don't either, big dog.
No.
That's why I love playing with you, right? Connor Rath and Trent Felt do not need
most people don't love playing with either one of us because of that. But continue.
Hey,
Yes.
I love playing with you, dude. I always say shooters got to shoot, right?
Oh.
Hey, I'll tell you what. I knew the play was designed to go to Taylor, but there was no hesitation, dude. 4 feet of separation was too much separation, so I just let it fly. It went in,
man down.
and we won the game, right? And it was crazy. I still remember people like, I mean, it was a big, people really thought highly of Montague then, right? Like everybody was like, man, this team is great. And so when we beat them, seeing the students like rush onto the floor, it was like a big deal, you know, people were all pumped up, and I was just like, wow, like, you know, that's just like euphoria. What a moment for that to happen. And so it was actually my birthday that day. So to actually hit a game-winning shot against a great team on your birthday, that sticks with you for life, right? So that was really cool to have happen. But it's not over, right? Because you got to play a team twice.
Oh yeah. You in the old conference, there's only 8 teams, so you played a lot of them twice.
I'm thinking of the
Now you still do, but you're not playing like a bunch of the North Muskegon and stuff if
so
you're on the upper.
Exactly. There was no like Rivers Lakes back then.
Yep.
It was just the OG conference, right?
Yep.
OG West Michigan Conference. And so like you play them at home, you're going to have to play them on the road, right? And we knew that game was coming. And, you know, Montague's not going to go out there and drop a bunch of games and just give us the conference. Like, no, they're going to go out there and handle business, right? So second time comes around. I actually think we did drop a game. I think we might have lost a game to like North Muskegon or something like that. I remember I think we had like the same conference record, or maybe we were 1 game better than them.
Yeah.
Headed into the rematch at Montague. And we kind of knew like, okay, it's the conference championship game tonight, right? Like we win, we're going to win it. They win, they're going to win it, right? It's coming down to that. And that was, like I said, that game started with Brandon Moore actually having that tip slam off of a Cater missed 3. And I was just like, whew, we might be in for. I remember we called a timeout. We're down 14-6 early in the first. We've been dunked on. Montague is hyped. The gym is rocking. As you know, the OG gym there, like it could get real loud real quick. And we're looking at each other like, okay, we got to pull this together, right? We got to figure this out. You know, we're down 14-6 and this place is rocking. And arguably, I would say, and I played with these guys for 10, 11 years, the guys I hooped with at Shelby. We played the best ball we played in our lives for the next 3 quarters. It was unbelievable. Zulik called it. We executed it. Shots were open. We hit it. They missed. We got in transition. We were hitting our box outs. We went from down 8 points, I think, in the first to up almost 20 at half. I mean, I bet you that Montague had never experienced a run like that against them in their life. And we played incredible basketball, basically just knocked them out. At halftime, we're up 20. I think we end up winning the game by something like that, you know? And that's just like, I think that just comes from all the years of work that we put in as a group, and Zulik just continuing to believe in us as a group and empowering us, because by that point, we just straight up believed we were the better team. And when I reflect back, we probably weren't. But in the mind of us 17, 18-year-old kids at that point, we had been empowered, right, through the confidence of things that had happened in our past and through our coaches. And we just thought we were better and we were going to go play better. And to kind of have that happen and to get a conference championship back at Shelby that year, I'll tell you, I've done a lot in athletics, and that's still one of the proudest things I think that I'll put on my resume, just because of how good that Montague team was and what it took to beat that team, and like how much teamwork and camaraderie that had to come with as a group to do that.
Yeah. I mean, definitely. It is crazy that you're going down 14-6 and then you guys came back and won by almost 20.
Dude, not only 14-6. This dunk by Brandon.
Well,
like you said, it's probably on his highlight film, right?
Yeah, probably. It's not just it was an impactful 14-6 too, I guess is what you're saying. So
I mean,
that's crazy. Do you miss the old conference at all?
I do miss the old conference. I do.
Do you think that?
That's no disrespect to the new teams in the conference either, right?
No.
No, Newt Lake. I feel Ludington brings what they bring, right?
Yep. How do you feel about the Hart Manistee flop going into this year or next year? Sorry.
Yeah. From a selfish perspective, coaching, I love it. Manistee, far drive, right? It's tough.
Oh yeah.
It's tough going up to Manistee on a Tuesday night.
Oh yeah.
Right. Definitely. Getting up there, your game's not done till 9:30. Got to bus it back, right? Then get back home, and we got to get back to school the next day, 7:30 a.m. So selfishly, I definitely prefer to go to Hart than to Manistee. And as an OG West Michigan Conference guy, from that, I kind of like Hart as an opponent because I don't have any history with Manistee myself, right?
Yeah.
I don't. How do you feel about that?
I personally really like it. I think that it adds some competition into the Rivers for a school like North Muskegon, who has historically so far this year last year dominated almost every major sport. You're talking baseball, football,
Is this the third
basketball.
or the fourth year of this? I'm trying to remember.
It started 22 was when it switched. So going into this, it's be 20,
This would be
22,
so
23.
This would be the fifth 22. So this would be the fourth year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Correct.
Yeah. In the last 3 years, that North Muskegon's kind of been owning that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think they've won 3 conference titles in a row in the Rivers.
Baseball for sure.
No, three in a row for just the major sports.
Right. I think football, basketball, and we're talking guys, male sports, right?
Yep.
For male sports, I think North Muskegon has definitely been the class of the Rivers recently.
Yeah,
and I know the other sports we love our other sports, right? But when you're saying football, basketball,
You're talking major sports.
Yeah.
The 3 major is football, baseball, basketball.
and I would agree with. I think that North Muskegon's 9 for 9.
Yeah.
In the last 3 years. Then.
Yeah. But I think Manistee puts a little bit of pressure on that. I don't think they're going to go out and just walk Manistee like they might a smaller school.
I tell you, a trip up to Manistee isn't going to be easy for those North Muskegon boys.
No,
That's a hike,
definitely
right?
not.
Yeah.
The nice thing I will say though is that a lot of those Rivers teams are farther north.
That's true.
So you're not doing as many of those the only teams that aren't are North Muskegon and Ravenna. So those two, that'll be a long drive. But outside of that, a lot of those schools are still pretty far. You got MCC, you got Shelby,
It was hard, but now they're switching right with Manistee.
and then for Hart, I think it's great because they've got a trending up football team.
True, they've won more games.
That's been trending upwards.
Absolutely.
You've got a basketball team that's probably going to be pretty phenomenal this year.
I mean, look at Hart the last 3 years.
They're still going to be young going into this year. They're still not going to have a lot of graduating kids. And then you got for baseball. From what I understand, they weren't bad last year.
Yeah, unfortunately, I didn't get a look at them last year in baseball, so I'm not quite as up to date with them as I am in terms of the other 2 sports because I saw their basketball team this summer. Yeah, they don't look like they're going anywhere.
Yeah.
They look like they're still going to be pretty strong, right?
And then you look at a team like you. The one thing that does suck is that they're not forced to play Shelby anymore, which I don't think it matters.
I think they're obviously going to play each other, right?
Yeah, I think they're.
Yeah.
And it's actually a conversation that last week Eric Greiner and I had after the podcast was if Montague were to say we added a couple teams to the top half of the conference and shifted Montague down.
Oh yeah, that's what you're saying.
How Montague Whitehall wouldn't be forced to play. Well,
that's true.
It's still a battle of the bridge. It's still all that. The likelihood of them not playing is, I think, extremely low unless you're talking.
It would be interesting, but I would typically when you have those non-conference matchups, we play once instead of twice.
Yeah.
Right. We're going to play North Muskegon every year in basketball.
We only
play
play
once.
Yeah.
Right. And same. I don't know if it's possible, but who's to say Montague Whitehall couldn't play twice, even though one was in the Rivers and one's in the Lake? In a hypothetical situation, a couple teams were added and Montague were to drop. Why couldn't Montague and Whitehall just schedule each other twice still? Right? I don't think there's anything against that to keep that rivalry alive. Right?
Yeah.
Those are interesting conversations always. You have different school populations, and those are always switching and changing, right? And trying to coordinate that also with athletic programs and athletic history and because just because you're a big school doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be more successful than a smaller school. But obviously we know the trends.
Yeah.
The more kids you have, typically the more to pick from. The stats would say that you're more likely to get more talent from a larger pool of people to pick from, right? That's just the math behind that. So it's an interesting kind of conversation there. I personally would, if Montague, if that situation ever happened, they added some big schools. Who are some schools that could come in? Maybe a
Coopersville, Fruitport,
Spring Lake. I know they just added a new conference though.
Spring Lake, Fruitport, and all them realigned their conference. In the. Okay.
I'm just thinking of some local schools who might come in.
Fruitport, Spring Lake.
Fruitport, Spring Lake are the big 2 that I can think.
WMC is a non-football school that could be added.
You're right about that for sure.
You got then you would have.
I know you brought up Coopersville.
Coopersville
away, but
Coopersville would be a good. I mean, they're not that far away.
You're right. No, it's not. No,
they're not any farther than Manistee.
Especially when a lot of the lake schools are closer to Muskegon.
Yeah,
that's not a far drive to Coopersville, right? I mean, it's right by Ravenna, and that's already a WMC team, right?
Yeah,
it's just down the road.
So you got a couple schools over there.
They could be candidates.
Trying to think of what else. I mean, it's the schools that we play a lot that are non-conference, but yeah, I mean, you got a bunch of schools that you could add.
I will say, with a population perspective, it's interesting to look at, right? Because the spread of it, I think right now, I think Ludington might be the biggest school in the Lakes right now. I think
Yeah, it's Ludington Whitehall.
upper 600s maybe. I think right now for Ludington. I'm not 100% sure on that. I did read an article last year. I think you guys might have been the one who posted.
Yeah,
it,
we
actually,
did.
Right? You posted a little I think it was when you were talking about Hart and Manistee switching.
Yeah, I can't remember here. I'll look because I'm curious.
Yeah. I am because there is some spread there, right? Because Ludington. We can talk about football for divisions, right? Ludington is Division 4, right? Montague and Manistee are Division 6, so there is a little bit of spread there in terms of population. Whereas if you look at the rivers, the biggest schools are D6 schools, like Hart, and the smallest schools are D7 schools. So there is less separation, I guess you can say, in terms of the amount of students in the rivers compared to the lakes.
Yeah, so Ludington's at 683. It's actually Fremont that's second. That's at 614.
Okay.
Then Whitehall at 584. This is as of last year when they did the realign or when they
So these numbers are
announced
fluid,
it.
but they're roughly accurate.
So Oak Ridge at 561, OV at 528, Montague at 437, and then Hart would be added at 400.
Yep.
And Manistee would drop at 396. So Hart and Manistee are pretty close in size.
They are. Relatively close to us here at Montague too, right? You said 437 at Montague. I think that number's closer right now, about 425-ish from what I've heard this year.
Plus, when you're looking at these numbers, it's plus or minus 20 students.
For sure.
On
Absolutely.
either side.
No doubt.
So, yeah, Ludington's the biggest for sure.
Yeah, that's a pretty big spread, right? You're looking at 250-plus student. So if you break it down, that's 125 more male students and 125 more female students that you're picking for teams, in terms of your talent pool.
And you're talking divide that by 4.
For each grade
level.
For
each grade level, that's 20. 25?
Over 30, yeah.
30, 40 kids. Yeah.
That's a big difference.
And it's huge. You're talking about a graduating class at Montague is typically 110, 105.
Yeah. I
think
that's right.
And now Ludington's graduating class is 140, 150 ish.
I think. Yeah, I'd say probably 170, 180.
Yeah,
depending on graduation rates and stuff like that.
Yeah, you're getting 80 more kids to pick from, and not that that's a bad thing. You're always going to have a fluctuation in school size.
There's never going to be a perfect conference where everyone's the exact same size, right?
But it's definitely a different brings a different level of I guess advantage. I would say a little bit.
It does. It does.
But let's kind of shift focus here. You played collegiate baseball. Tell me a little bit about that.
So we talked basketball, and that's funny. I love hoops, and me and you talk hoops a lot. We love hoops, but baseball is definitely my first love and what I pursued the most in my athletic career, I guess you could say. Always was pushing the multi-sport athlete at Shelby, but baseball was actually what we kind of gravitated toward most at Shelby. So we had a really good group going through. My senior year, we had only an 11-man team, which is kind of small for baseball, but 10 seniors.
Oh, man.
So we had 10 seniors, and we all played. We'd have some guys, one guy DH, was a DH only, and would DH for guys. So, we were talking 10 seniors who were in the lineup every single game. And we had a great team. Coach Brian Wright, up there at Shelby, does a great job. Hall of Famer.
New Muskegon Clippers.
Shout out there. New Muskegon Clippers coach. Well earned. What a great baseball guy. A guy who's been doing this for 40-something years. He's going to coach whatever he's got, whether he's got great talent or not as much talent, and he's going to try to maximize that. Our senior year, we just, go on a roll. We're winning. Our junior year, we were pretty solid. We won districts. Did get beat by Oak Ridge, I think, in the regional final back when Jamie Potts was there. What a great player he was, as well. Another guy who won a championship at Oak Ridge. Yep. But then senior year, we got the better of them. Won conference against them. I think we split when we played them, but they dropped a game to somebody else. So I think we were the champs that year. And then we won districts. We got the regional title that year. I think we were ranked 3rd or 4th in the state in D3 that year in the final ranking in the baseball coaches poll. But we did get beat in the quarters that year. That's actually, when I look back at athletic memories, that's one of the most crushing memories I've ever had. I think the team that was ranked right next to us got beat by Bath, is who we played, and we went there that game. I'm gonna be honest, we all thought we were winning. We rolled up, our coach made a joke, and it was our JV coach is if you guys make it to Battle Creek, which was where the semifinals used to be, now it's at Michigan State, I'm going to get a big baseball tattoo on my calf. And we were joking with him after one regional, Coach, you're getting that too. Coach, you're getting that tattoo. And he's just we got one more to get. and we didn't get it. Well, the kid from Bath went out there. I think his name was Styles, all-state pitcher, right? Shoved on us that day. I mean, we set every record at Shelby, I think, my senior year. You're talking batting average, home runs. You name an offensive stat, and the 2010 team set it, right, in terms of a school record. I think we hit 38 or 40 home runs my senior year. You know, like a team, dude, a mashing team we had. And we roll up to this Bath, and we just get shoved on. Like we were putting guys on base. I think we might have put 7, 8, 9 guys on base that game and just didn't get one across. I know I grounded out with guys on first and second one inning. I still remember about that at bat sometimes.
You have nightmares about that.
Hey, my buddy struck out with the bases loaded in the last inning, and we lost 2-0. And sometimes I think about I was on deck. Sometimes I think about what would have happened if I would have got one more opportunity. But then I reflect back, and I'm like, I had my opportunity earlier in the game, right, to make a play. And that's a crushing loss, right? To be like, no, we're going to be the team. We're going to win this state title. We're going to take this, like, we've built for this. And then to not achieve that goal, right? Like, it hurt. Like, we're tears in the dugout. We're sitting there 30 minutes after the game. We don't want to leave because we don't want to take the jersey off for the last time. And I reflect back on that, and that's just about the community supporting us wanting to wear that Shelby S, us having pride in wearing the purple, and wanting to put on for the town. So that was crushing, right? I'm sitting there, I'm at home the next day. I'm pretty depressed still, right? Like, I'm not leaving my house. I'm in tears. Coach, right? I got a call. My phone's going off. This is back when we had the old flip phones, right? So I flip it open, and I'm like, "Hey, Coach, what's up?" And he's like, I got some good news. I'm like, "What kind of good news could you have? We just got beat in the quarters, dude." He's like, "Hey, you got named to the first team all-state team," and I felt, it's interesting because I felt good about it, but then at the time I still felt like, man, this is something cool, but I don't even feel like celebrating because it felt for me, it was all about the team, so that was cool though, getting that all-state nod. I remember I got a few looks for some schools. I ended up deciding to go to Adrian College at first, really good baseball program, D3 program there in southeastern Michigan. So I went there for a year, played tough there and was battling hard. Obviously you're at a 4-year school, so you've got some seniors and some kids that were tough. And I went there and I thought my skills were good. And I realized, I was like, you know what? I need to get stronger. I gotta, when you get up there and you're 18 and you see some 22-year-old young men that you gotta try to beat out.
Oh yeah.
You get a reality check real quick,
How many athletes do you think come from high school and then get that reality check when they?
I would say probably well over 60-70% of college athletes.
I think it's not just at the D3, the divisional level, but also at the JUCO level.
Oh my
gosh.
You're
talking about guys at the JUCO. This isn't high school anymore. You're talking about the best athletes from a county or farther from a region, and that's a huge. You're talking about guys from Muskegon.
I am pumped you brought this up, by the way.
Yeah,
because people be sleeping on JUCO, dude. Like,
people
have
people
100%. Who don't know a lot about sport. They hear because it's junior college, right? So that term junior, I'm like, dude, JUCO ball. I can speak to it for baseball. JUCO ball is some really good ball, man. You have some high-level players there. Some kids they could have went to other schools, but they're trying to get that D1 offer. So they're going, right? So they're going to JUCO. And a lot of these schools now, transfer portal, all this, a lot of schools prefer to get these transfers because they're more proven. Oh, I've seen such and such have 2 really good years at Grand Rapids Community College or at Muskegon Community College. I want to bring that kid in versus this high school senior that's not as developed.
Well, you're talking about, obviously, my brother Owen played basketball at the JUCO level.
Yeah.
He was a starter at Montague for 2.5 years starter at Montague. I think maybe even longer than that.
I think he was, when I was there, he was always the point guard.
Yeah. So I think he was first team all conference, one of the best players in the state or in the area.
Sure.
Maybe not the state, but
definitely
up there.
The area.
Yeah, up there. I think he did make like the all-state honorable mention, maybe, but I can't remember honestly.
Hey, I watched Owen play every game his senior year. I sat right by you. That dude balled out. For sure.
Oh yeah. He got to the JUCO level and he didn't play, and that's MCC. He didn't get very many minutes. I think he played maybe 8 minutes all season.
Yeah.
And then you look at other. I graduated with Tate Stein. He ended up getting a lot of minutes, but his freshman year he didn't play almost at all.
He had to work his way up, is what you're saying. Yeah.
And so it's definitely people sleep on it because you're talking about athletes who are not good enough usually to either go D1, D2, or D3, or they were good enough and just didn't get very many looks, so they go JUCO.
Or
to get
they were
those
good
looks.
enough and didn't want to pay the money
That too.
to go to those schools.
Yeah. So you're getting those athletes, plus you're getting all of the, and those athletes could be from all over the country. Plus you're getting the athletes from like the best athletes from a Montague or from a Muskegon or from a Mona Shores or Shelby.
Or yeah.
Oh yeah, you're getting the best athletes from a lot of those schools, so you have a whole different perspective on.
I think of a recent one on Nick Moss from Montague, right?
Oh yeah,
First team All-State kid who hit over 600, can run like the wind and creates great bat speed, and we're talking about a kid who's going to Lake Michigan Community College.
Yeah, and not that that's anything phenomenal on him for being a college athlete, but it's kind of like you don't realize it how many, like, I think Cater might have been is one of the only athletes who went Division I.
Yeah, I remember it was because that was a big deal, right? Like when I was in school and like Cater, I believe it was like Central Michigan maybe was where he got his first offer.
Yep, it was CMU, and then he ended up going to, I think,
Cincinnati.
Yes,
because I think Coach went there
Cincinnati.
or something.
Yeah,
I'm just trying to remember. It's been a while.
Yeah, Yep.
Yeah, and so like I remember that was a big deal. People were like, dude, Cater, like, because they're like, yeah, he signed, he's going to sign. And we were like, man, like that guy got a deal, like, because you didn't see a lot of guys.
And then I think of a more recent one. Nevaeh went Division I at Ohio State.
From Shelby, you're saying volleyball.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean that's a huge deal.
Yeah, like these are not. You're not talking. Like, you're talking maybe one or two athletes in the entire area outside of...
In a generation, too. We're not talking just 1 year.
Yes.
Over a generation of 10 years, an athlete who gets that opportunity.
Correct. Now, it's a little bit more common with a team with Muskegon, Mona Shores, those bigger schools.
For sure. Definitely.
Like, I think Muskegon's had just about one every year.
Yeah, it feels like it,
and
right? Mona basketball and football.
Yeah, Mona Shores has one every couple of years.
Yeah.
I think of the Stewart kid who's going to... Miami, Ohio.
Yeah, they've had some really good football players come through there recently as well.
So you're talking about, it's not for those schools, it's not uncommon, but it's still impressive.
It is impressive for sure.
So yeah, but I mean the JUCO level is nothing to sleep at, because you're getting the guys who weren't good enough to go do that, but were good enough to play below that, and and you don't even realize how much of that.
There might be some kids who could have been that good, but because they went to the small school, just didn't get that opportunity.
Correct. Yeah.
And that doesn't mean that.
And a lot of those times too, that difference between a guy who is the sixth man on a high school team, and the guy who's a eighth, ninth man on a JUCO team, who gets 10 to 12 minutes a game at most.
Yeah.
Is huge. Like, you don't even realize that.
Dude,
that
kid who's coming off the bench on that JUCO team was a baller.
Yeah.
In high school,
or goes back to his high school alumni scrimmages and just cooks everybody.
Yeah, we're dropping 40 at the alumni. Yeah.
Like it's a whole. That guy still has to put in 4 or 5 hours a day in just developing themselves for that program.
And you put in all that work in JUCO, and I was a JUCO guy. So like when I'm at JUCO, right? So I after I left Adrian College, I just worked out for a year. I just hit the gym, hit the weights, hit the running sled. I'm like, I gotta get bigger, faster, stronger. I can play this game. I gotta get my body up to where it needs to be if I'm gonna get to where I want to go. So for me, I took a year off. I trained. I'm like, I'm going to go to JUCO, and I'm going to try to take the route from there, right? So I get a hold of some different colleges. One of my Bob Kavanaugh used to run the Riptide. I played on his summer college team, and after I was at Adrian, and I took that year off, and I worked out, and I played for him again. He's like, dude, you got to get on a roster now. He's like, the way they've improved over the last year, like, it's night and day what you can do physically. And I'm like, okay. So he's like, you got to put together some film, and you got to send it out to some coaches. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, what should I do? He's just like, just like you hitting, throwing, working out, stuff like that. So I take that literal, right? So I do some throwing, I do some hitting, but then he said working out. So I went in the gym, put up some video of me throwing up some bench press and some squat rack, and I put together this 3-minute video, and I handed it out to coaches. And I went. I think I stopped at
on a CD, right?
Yeah. This is old school.
Yeah.
No.
I wanted to clarify.
This is 2012, 11. We're on a CD here. I'm burning them, and I've got like 8 of them, and I'm just going to go on a route, right? And so I had some colleges picked out. I think it was Kalamazoo Valley. I didn't want to go to Muskegon. It was local. I knew a lot of people who went there. I kind of always was like, I want to do my own thing. right? So Muskegon really wasn't on my list of where I wanted to transfer after Adrian. So I think I stopped at Kalamazoo Valley. I stopped at Kellogg Community College. And I was just starting to drive I was going to go up to Grand Rapids, right, and drop my film off next. I was just going to make a loop of the different schools. And Kalamazoo Valley coach got a hold of me right after I was getting to Battle Creek for Kellogg Community College. And he was like, we want you here. And he showed me a ton of excitement. He's like, you want to come back? He's like, where are you at? Because he's like, Jerry, take off. I'm like, I'm actually going towards Battle Creek. He's like, come back. So he gave me kind of a full-blown tour and kind of got me into Kalamazoo Valley baseball. And I was kind of felt like, even though I went to him, made it feel like he was recruiting me.
Yeah.
So that's how I kind of went. You always want to go somewhere you're wanted.
Yeah.
Right. And so I was willing to go anywhere that would have took me, because I'm like, hey, I've been busting my butt, y'all. Here's some film. Give me an opportunity. So for him to be like, no, we want you. Come on in. That was huge for me. So I went to Valley. You go in there as fall. I'll tell you what, you got 50 kids. You got 30 of them are on scholarship, and 20, preferred walk-ons or something, right? And you can put 30 kids on a JUCO team, right, at MAC, and half of those are going to be pitchers, right? And I'm not a pitcher. So I'm like, okay, I gotta put in some work here. And I remember there was this kid from Benton Harbor who they recruited. Name was Devin. Kid could book, right? Kid could just straight up run. He was rumored to run a 6.5 60. He was not quite that fast. But everyone's like, we had to run in twos. You had to run your 60s in twos. No one wants to run with this kid, right? No one, everyone knows, because a lot of kids are from that area. They're like, no, this kid's, you don't want to run with this kid. I'm like, I'm going to run with that kid. They're like, huh? I'm like, yeah, I'm going to run with him. Did I beat him? No, I didn't beat him. No, I think he ran a 6.7 60, which is pretty good time. Right?
Oh, yeah.
Pretty good time. I think I was a step behind him. I ran like a 6.85. But I remember the coach looked at me afterwards. He didn't look at the other kid. He already knew what Devin could run, right? Then he looked at the time, made me run again, right? And I put up a similar time, and I just remember him just being like, okay, like, let's get you some reps. And I just kind of got some reps in the first showcase, played well, got some more reps.
So real quick, sorry to
no, you're good,
but I just want to point something out. We're talking a lot about the difference between JUCO and or JUCO and high school.
Oh, yeah.
And real quick, let's talk a difference between pros and JUCO. You said that kid was fast running a 6.7.
Yeah.
40, right?
Yeah.
Most linemen in the NFL run 6.5 or maybe a little.
No, you're talking 40s though, dude.
Oh, are you talking?
Yeah. So a 6.7 60-yard dash.
Oh, 60. You didn't say 60.
So in baseball,
okay,
no, I should have did that. So
yes.
I'm talking 60 because in baseball we do 60s because it's 180 feet. It's like home to second.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay,
Yeah.
so that makes a lot more sense. I was so confused. I'm like, that doesn't seem. You said that's really fast, and I was like,
hey, and I know sports, so you're like, I'm not going to correct him, but I'm not.
And you didn't say 60, and so I was so confused
My
for a
bad.
second.
Oh, I should have clarified
No,
that.
okay.
We're talking,
so never mind.
A 6.7 40-yard dash, that is not fast, y'all.
No,
right? we are not.
I'm like, that's why I was pointing out the difference. I'm like, if this kid's running a 6.7 40-yard dash, like, I can't remember what I ran, but I feel like it was like.
You're running faster than that. I'll tell you that.
Like, I mean, I'm pretty slow, so I don't.
I seen you on the court. You're You're moving 40 yards faster than 6.7.
Yeah, I was. But yeah.
No, so I think you're more looking like a 6.7 translates more to like a 4.5, 4.6 40.
Yeah.
Right. Like this kid could.
And even then, most NFL linemen are.
I think they're around 5. Right.
Yeah,
like
5.
Yeah, like 5. If you're.
So you're talking a 200 or 280 to 360 pound lineman.
You'll see some linemen go under 5, like some incredibly athletic linemen go under.
Imagine
5
a 350 pound man running at you and moving that fast.
One that makes me think of is Jordan Davis from the Eagles.
Yep.
Right. Just recently, he blocked. They had him at 18.6 miles per hour, returning a blocked kick for a touchdown, and he is at 330. Imagine the force.
Oh, yeah.
330 running 18.6.
I just think about the fact I went bowling the other day, and I don't think I threw a ball over 15 miles an hour.
Yeah.
So that guy's outrunning my bowling ball.
Yeah. At his peak speed.
Yes.
And then hitting, like, imagine if he hit you.
And then racking you with a shoulder.
So there are, like you said, there's levels, right?
Yeah.
For sure. So yeah, at the JUCO level there, yeah, if you're running 6.7, you're a burner, right? You're flying. And that's probably equivalent to a 4.6.
Yeah.
And you're 40, and a 4.6 is not flying by pro NFL standards. You would be, if you ran that as a receiver or a running back, your draft stock is dropping.
Yeah.
Right? Because they don't think you're fast enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's, like you said, there's levels to
Oh yeah.
high school,
Yeah, you're running.
college, and then pros.
Yeah,
right?
low fours is usually minimum.
Yeah, right. I mean, you're trying to get a great 40. You're looking anywhere 4.5 to 4.3, right?
Yeah.
Guys that are anyone who can break 4.3. I think the record at the combine right now is like 4.22.
Yeah.
Right now, in terms of, not that there hasn't been anyone that can run faster than that, but just like the NFL combine
Yeah.
record itself. So like you said, there is definitely levels to that. And that comes with speed and agility training. And I know for me, I'll tell you, I wasn't near that when I was in high school. I think I was like a 7'1" guy. I owe a lot of my speed increases to the gym and to the speed sled. Putting some weights on the speeded sled and just running sprints really helped with my acceleration and just getting up to that top speed quicker, which was great for baseball. Turned me into a base stealer, right? So that was huge for me. That's actually kind of how I was able to make my mark in baseball. I was an offensive guy, right? So once I hit the gym and got that speed up and got myself to that 6'8" range, I always could hit, right? I was first team All-State player my senior year, and I hit well over 400 and drove in over 50 runs. And I've always been known as a hitter, right, in the area. And people I played with were like, yeah, like Felt's a hitter, right? But when I added that speed to it, I became a real overall weapon on offense, right? Like I can get to first, and now I'm taking second, right? You watch out, I might take third, right? And now I'm in scoring position. Guys that I always tell people, you want to make a college lineup, hit and run, because that's offense, right? That's half the battle. So that's kind of how I made my mark. Like they actually moved me. I was always an infielder growing up, right? Like good athletes a lot of times have to play infield. They actually moved me to the outfield after that 60-yard dash. They're like, oh, this kid can run a little bit. So I actually had to learn that. I'm not going to ever say I was a great defensive outfielder, but I did learn the position, right, and learned how to do it. But the offensive, I was definitely known as an offensive player at the college level. Had a little bit of adversity, though, because I know I came in and really had a good first fall. I actually think I had myself as penciled in as a number one center fielder or left fielder, maybe. I can't remember. Obviously, I penciled because they were still going to be the whole winter, right? There's still, the winters before. But people don't realize in JUCO, like, you have a 23 game fall schedule. That's, like, not officially, but that's where you're making or breaking your status on the team. Like, they're doing cuts after that fall season, right? Like, 20 of those 50 kids are cut, and they're making their depth chart after this. So, like, that fall season from the end of August to halfway through October in JUCO baseball, that fall season's huge.
Oh, yeah.
And so me, we're in that spot. And then, so this is kind of funny. And this is why Shelby's gym I love it. It's why I love to go there, but I do have a couple bad memories in Shelby's gym. And one of them is I actually tore my ACL that winter. So after I went to Valley and kind of worked my way up there and got my status of being a big time, I was going to be an outfielder and hopefully be a starting outfielder on that team. I went to Shelby's alumni scrimmage. Shelby had Rick was continuing all the great success because after me, the Beckmans started to come in through, right? Yep. Like DJ Beckman, Jason Beckman, Danny Beckman. There's more of them, right? Yeah. There's two families of Beckmans that merged there for a while, and they were just, really good. It was nice. I kind of felt like we set the trend for them, I'd come back to those alumni scrimmage, like, we're balling, like, we're battling because you don't want these younger kids to think that they were better than you were, right?
Oh, yeah.
We're like, yo, you don't disrespect the 2010 class just because y'all in 2012, and I think they might even made the semifinals that year under Rick.
Yeah, they went a long way.
I think they did, right? That team was really good. I remember at the alumni scrimmage, I think one of my buddies, he was trying to pass me the ball, made a bad pass. I think Jason Beckman intercepts it, goes for a layup. When we were growing up, you didn't let a guy get a layup, right?
No.
It's alumni scrimmage. You still don't. So I'm running them down, right? And I'm moving well, but I worked out that day already. I think I had a pretty intensive, like, lower half workout that morning. I jump up, and was never known as a jumper, had been a little more athletic. I actually think I might have partially blocked a shot off the bottom of the backboard, but because I was coming in with so much speed, and I didn't want to just run the kid over, right?
Yeah.
It's alumni scrimmage. You don't want to play and just run a kid over. I kind of just landed on my left leg. It hyperextended back. I tore my ACL. So now I got to come back to Kalamazoo Valley and tell my coach, I just tore my ACL at my basketball alumni scrimmage over Christmas break, and I got a red shirt this year. Obviously, he's pretty disappointed about that, right? I'm having a lot of adversity. I remember, I tried not to cry too much. If I cried with sports, it was mostly over just like the pain of a season being done or a tough, and you try not to let anyone see that. But I remember being in tears on my way to the hospital being like, man, no one's going to ever know, like, the level of player I got to because I just tore my ACL. and my dad's just trying to comfort me, like, it'll be okay, like, it'll be all right. And I just remember feeling so devastated in that moment, right? But then reality sets in, right? And you're like, okay, like, this is the injury. And then it's just like, what are you going to do about it? Are you going to say, woe is me?
Or are you going to put your copper fits and lace it up?
Are you going to put your copper fits on and lace it up, dude? And that's,
For those who don't know, I'll explain the joke real quick. So Trent and I obviously coach basketball together at the JV level for Montague. And when there was, I think right around before Christmas break, when we needed, sometimes we'd have players who were sick or gone or on vacation or whatever.
Yeah.
And we would need one of us two or both of us would have to sub. And then during Christmas break, we did like a little scrimmage thing where we would play and we'd each have a team. And Trent would not play without the copper fits.
I think you even brought in some other guys, right?
Yeah.
Like some other alumni and stuff.
Yep.
To play. Yeah.
So the copper fits are, if you've never heard of copper fit, if you go to Walmart and let's just use the one in Whitehall for example. If you go in Walmart in Whitehall, you pull in the parking lot, you go in the front doors. If you go all the way back, like you're going down to the dog food, you take a right, you go all the way down, or actually, sorry, you take a right when you get in, go all the way down like you're going to the end, and then you take a left. And there's a little sports aisle. It's right next to the shotguns. I really odd spot for it, but right next to the shotguns. You to the right, one or two aisles over, there's this section, and there's these. They're copper fits. They're called copper fits, but they have copper laced into the fibers, I think.
Yeah,
I don't know.
They're like knee sleeves.
Yeah,
right?
they're like
or
they're knee
sleeves.
sleeves. Yeah. And Trent would not go without his copper fits for playing basketball. It just wasn't going to be a good day, or he wasn't playing. One of the two. Usually he wasn't playing.
I cannot play basketball competitively without the copper fits because it just, if I'm gonna play, I'm gonna play. It's going to be 100, right?
Yeah.
And not only have I had ACL, I actually tore my other ACL in 2019 playing men's league soccer up in the A division in Grand Rapids. My brothers, after I was done with playing baseball in college, my brothers were good soccer players.
Yeah.
Got me into soccer. I realized, hey, this is just like basketball, but I don't have to be tall to be really good at it.
Yeah.
So I really got into soccer. I remember we were having a really good season up in there, and I tore my other ACL. So nowadays, you're looking at a guy who has 2 new ACLs in either knee, and the second one I actually got the meniscus too.
Yeah.
So if I always tell the kids, if I'm on the basketball court and my copper fits are not on, I am not playing.
Yeah.
I am just out there for like being a body. But
Yeah.
if the copper fits are on, we can turn it back to 2010. And when we turn it back to 2010, we're hooping.
Yeah.
Right. So that's always the joke kind of at Montague. Like there's some kids that are going around like, Coach, I can take you. And I'm always like, I'm always like,
don't tempt the copper fits.
I was like, don't let me put my copper fits on because if you do, it's over, man.
We this year actually, you're actually talking to a 2025 White Lake area soccer league champion.
Oh yeah.
We actually won that championship, inaugural championship, by a lot.
You guys got like a little CatchMark team here?
Oh yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
cool. You got is Jonah?
Yep. Good old Jonah Kelly is on that squad. His brother Ben played for a little bit.
Nice.
We got both Brent and Kara, my parents,
nice.
On that squad. Owen.
Does Owen get out there?
Owen had like 40 goals this year.
Good for him.
I had -1 goals.
Okay.
Had
a little own goal maybe perhaps?
Yeah, so that's actually a really funny story. So I got there. I played golf league on Tuesdays, and a lot of our games were on Tuesdays as well. So I went to golf league, and I'm like, okay, I get done with golf league. I got to get back to go to Township soccer, it's actually the baseball, softball field. I think they're actually softball fields at Township Park there.
Okay.
In Montague, and so I get over there. I'm running because I'm running late for the game. So they've already started the game by the time I get there. I get in, I lace them up, get on the cleats, and then I can't remember who it was. I think it was Latrell Sobers.
Okay.
He was on our team. Called for sub, and so I'm like, whatever. I just got here. I'll go in. So I go in, and literally 12 seconds after I walked in, the other team crossed the ball, and I was like, okay. Jonah had gone this way towards the it'd be the right post. He had gone that way, and a guy was making a run. I thought there was a guy making a run behind me. And Jonah kind of missed the save, and I thought there was a guy making a run behind me because he had made the run a couple of times. He's really fast. So I went like this to just kind of step in front of it, and I was just going to step. Hopefully it would just bounce off my foot and kind of clear out.
Knock it out of there.
Yeah. And when I stepped, it hit the side of my foot, and I didn't even know. Nobody was running behind me. So great field awareness, I know. it kicked straight up and was like doing
The
this
spinny.
and
Yep.
spin and just went right in the goal.
Oh,
And I was
God.
like, I had been in for literally 12 seconds.
You got there late.
I
No
got there late.
warm-up.
I got there late, ran in. The refs blew the whistle. Corner kick comes in. I freak out, take a step, score an own goal, look at Jonah and go, "Well, that was not how that was supposed to go."
Welcome to the game.
And I think we ended up winning that game, but it was pretty funny. And that was the only goal. I had a couple close ones, a lot of crossbars. I loved that crossbar this year, but yeah, just thought that was funny.
No,
but,
the thing that I love the sport of soccer too. You know, I got really big into it in like 2017, 2018, 2019 after I was out of college and I was still in my 20s. People always wanted me to go to slow pitch softball. Like I still have people that will hit me up on that, and then because they know.
Well, you're a hitter. Of course, you want to go slow pitch. You'd smoke every single ball.
Yeah, they're like, well, you're a baseball guy. Like, you're a really good baseball player. You need to get out here and slow pitch. And I'm just like, well, slow pitch just doesn't really do it for me like baseball.
Well, because you're just going to smoke every single ball.
And it's just, yeah. And also, a lot of my buddies have been hurt playing slow pitch. We're talking broken
do you-
ribs, pulled hamstrings. I
How
got
the
one of my
heck-
buddies whose
okay.
hip went out of socket playing slow pitch. Because, you know, these fields aren't great, and they're sliding around. They think they're 17, 18, and they're 28, 29. And before you know it, the hip or the hammy. And I'm like, man, you guys have had, I mean, don't get me wrong, I've had my fair share of injuries with the ACLs, right?
I've been fortunate. I haven't had any major injuries. Now,
I know softball can hurt you.
yeah. Now, granted, my major injury was I was born with a congenital heart defect, and I had to have major heart surgery 2 times in my life. But I've not had any major, like, injuries playing a sport.
Bones and ligaments are good for you.
Yeah. And now I'm gonna say that and do some. I did one time get injured in cross country of all things. Broke my wrist. And yeah, so we were practicing and I went to Montague, obviously. So we're running cross country, and we would do different runs throughout the season. And we went to the track, which, if you know where the middle school is at, you go down this concrete path, you go all the way down, you get to the visitor side of the track.
Yeah, I know
We're going on the track, we're doing 400, so we're running 1 lap, and it's a sprint. And so I'm like, and I was one of the I would say in middle school, I was one of the better cross country runners. I was top 1 or 2, if not 2, and the only person that was catching me was Chris Abeg, who was 2 classes behind me, and he was really fast.
He was.
So I'm running. It's like our last practices, and Ian Deegan, who he graduated with me. Some people might know him. Kind of came up behind me, and he didn't mean to. It wasn't on purpose, and he kind of clipped my back right foot, as I was running through, and I just ate it like 120 meters into this run, and just like, I mean, I didn't just eat it, like I hit hard, and I kind of extended my arm, and it wasn't like a gruesome break where it was like
the wrong way.
No, it wasn't like that. I got up,
good.
It just was like I was moving fast, fell, and like dang, I landed hard, and my knee actually hurt more because
like it's hurting, but you're not trying to show people it's hurting.
Yeah. Like my knee actually hurt more because the way I landed like right here on my
Scraping
knee,
that up.
and it was on that track, so it's all like, so I wasn't really paying attention to it, and it was super sore, and I was like 2 weeks go by, I'm like, oh, this thing's still sore. I don't know what is going on. And so we go to the doctor, and he's like, yeah, you got a fracture in your wrist, and it's like halfway healed already. And I was like, oh, cool. That's neat. And so that's my only ever injury in basketball. I'm going to say that now, and now I'm going to go play basketball on Monday and take one step and blow out my knee or something.
Yeah, I was going to say, because whenever we need an extra player at JV practice, it's you first. People have to realize I only jump on if we need 2 extra bodies, right? Like, Connor's first up when it comes for the extra. So I always am telling him every practice, make sure you have your shorts and your shoes. Yeah. Right? Because
I bring
you
the
never
intensity,
know.
I'll tell you that.
That's for sure.
I try to bring the play as well, but it doesn't always. Like, I played in high school, but those of you who know me, I was not the all conference basketball player that many might think I was.
Yeah. Some of my JV kids think you are, the way you put the threes in on them, though. Still.
Yeah, well, I can't. Having a little baby at home puts some weight on you, so yeah, it's not an ideal situation when you're at home a lot and eating a lot and getting fat.
We'll get you. We'll get you.
Yeah, I'm gonna need
this
to.
Winter, dude.
I'm gonna need to, and we got to get shoes for Woody too.
Yeah, I
so
feel bad when I didn't come and play this weekend, but I mean, come on. or was it Monday, right?
Yeah, Monday.
We had Lions Ravens going on, man. I wasn't. I already
What a
had-
game, too.
I think we had wings ordered right already.
Yeah.
I was like,
What a game! What a game! Like, I mean, really, like that was watching that. That was just a phenomenal
People
game.
are about to see two non-football people talk about football, but I know that me and this guy know our ball still. Did you see when the Lions were running the stacked eye?
Yes.
3 guys lined up. Like, dude,
I thought it was 4.
Well, if you count Goff, it was 4.
Yeah.
Yes. A quarterback and then 3.
Yeah, it was an I formation with
I think
4
it was
guys.
like Montgomery, and then they had Laporta and then Gibbs. I haven't seen a formation like that
Well,
since Mini
it
Wicks,
wasn't. It wasn't just that. It was the fact that they ran it on like their own 3-yard line.
Dude, they did not care.
Yeah, it was on their own 3-yard line.
Like, we're gonna stack 3 guys and we're just gonna run it.
They got all 3 of those, and all 3 of them are standing in their own end zone. I'm like,
and Dan Campbell's like, we are just gonna pound it down your throat today,
Yeah.
right? And I'm sitting here, and the thing is, and I like football. I mean, obviously, like I went to Shelby. I played football growing up. I did not play in high school. Basketball, baseball guy is what I played, but I still love the game. Watch it a lot.
Yeah.
Love my fantasy football. Always into football. When I was growing up, I really kind of fell in love with the spread offense. It was really emerged when we were growing up, right? And like Peyton Manning kind of ushered in that type of,
Yeah.
And it was really fun to watch because it was so different. But now as I get older, and I tell this to Jay Mulder all the time, I'm like, I want to see more big bodies I love 2 tight end sets, right?
Oh, yeah.
I want to see power. Now, don't get me wrong, we don't have to run the ball. We can do a little play
I love-
and throw the ball out of these, but I love power formations.
oh yeah, I love just watching Sam Laporta get out of that, get out of there, and just set an absolute monster block on the.
Or see like a Tesla or a St. Brown, even though they're receivers, just saying, I don't care. I'm going to go put this linebacker on his butt.
You know what?
Right?
You know what
Like,
the
I love
highlight?
that.
You know what the highlight of that whole game was for me though?
What was that?
Jake Bates with the return saving tackle.
Hey, that's a game-saving play. If they take that, momentum is completely different. Right?
Oh, yeah.
Like I could easily see the Lions. I don't want to use the term falling apart because Dan's such a good coach. That's not going to happen, right?
Yeah.
But like you lose the momentum like that, you're on the road. That's going to be almost impossible to come back from. So Bates makes a huge play like that, right?
Yeah.
And the way Campbell talks about him, he talks about him just like he's any other guy. Like it might be the kicker, but he doesn't talk about him like he's the kicker. He talks about him like he's a football player. What a great coach, right? A guy that leads by example, a guy that's going to hold his players accountable, but is going to like build that camaraderie. He's like, I'm going to hold you accountable, but I'm going to build you up, and you got a big role to play here. And whether that's your Jake Bakes and you got to make big kicks, you might have to make a big tackle when you have to, right?
Yeah.
You might be the 3rd string tight end. You might be needed to come in here in a 3 tight end set, and you might need to get a big block, right, to get Montgomery in the end zone. And I think Dan just does such a good job of that in that game. What about when we have St. Brown at fullback? We're talking a 200-pound receiver. He's lined up at fullback. He's getting a handoff, and then he's running the speed option with Gibbs at the goal line, like making that. I'm like,
That was crazy.
I'm like Johnny Moe, the new offense coordinator. I'm like, who needs Ben Johnson, right?
No.
When you
100%.
and what's real?
The funniest part of that whole game was the fact that when I looked at my fantasy team, I had David Montgomery on my bench.
What are you doing?
And I was like, what? What is this? Well, the reason I put him on my bench was because the Bears running back.
Swift.
Yeah, I think so. Was projected to score more points.
He was because they had a pretty good matchup against Dallas.
Yeah, and so I put him. I started him over David Montgomery, and I was like, I'm watching this game, and I watched the second 95-yard run or whatever, or 75-yard run.
Yeah, it was like 70 something, right?
It was 95-yard drive, but the 75-yard
Yes,
run, and I was like, or 77 or something like that, and I was like, how many points does this guy have?
Oh, we had so many.
I look at my fantasy team, and he's got like 22, and I'm like, in the game, it's
because he finished with I think 30 because he was on my
he
team
had
as
22
well.
at the time, and I look at my lineup, and I go, like, it's the 3rd quarter. We got 13, 12, 11 minutes, something like that left, and he's got 22 points.
What am I doing?
I still won by 30 points, but it didn't matter.
I mean, you saw everyone. I don't like to watch like all the media. I don't have enough time to watch all, but I saw right before the game, all 5 of the people calling the game had picked the Ravens. Games at the Ravens. The Ravens have owned the Lions the last couple of times they played them, right? no excuses playing a champion, right? Dan Campbell says, we're just going to go out here. Jared Goff's going to go out here and play the best game he's ever played.
Yeah.
What a game that guy played, right?
Oh, yeah.
Phenomenal. And, like, yeah, we might have lost that first week to the Packers, right? Like, I'm going to be honest. Like, I was feeling like, oh, gosh, man, we don't have our coordinators anymore. Green Bay has Micah Parsons. They they beat us, I think, by 2 touchdowns that first week.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
And
Yeah.
like, we hate, like, being handled like that by your rival. Like, I'm going to be honest, I was a little nervous, right? And then these last 2 weeks, I'm just like, what was I nervous about? This football team is a great football team.
Oh, yeah.
And it starts at the top with Dan and Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell and right down.
Yeah. The funniest part of last week though was that I watching the Browns absolutely put it to, like, you got a quarterback collecting Social Security,
40-something-year-old Flacco, right?
getting them in field goal range, and then like it just to nut that one from like 49 yards
I'm pretty sure they blocked a field goal, right? And then they went down there and got their own field goal to win it, right?
Yeah, so they
crazy.
blocked the field goal, and then they turned around and went like 20 yards, 15 yards, got him field goal in just inside field goal range. I think
this is all in the last like 30 seconds of the game, if I recall.
And then they nailed one, which almost got blocked itself. Like, if you watch it back, it had about that much.
I don't know if you noticed it. So many blocked kicks this week in the NFL.
Yeah, there was 4.
Felt like but every one was like with the game on the line. It felt like it.
The only one that wasn't was the Jets.
Yeah,
and that one.
But even that, I think the game. It was still it was 20-26. No, the Jets blocked a kick 20-26. They took it back for 20-27-26, but then the Bucs did go back down.
Oh yeah, because Baker Mayfield's great apparently in the 2-minute drill.
He is great in the 2-minute drill.
I don't.
Thanks, man.
Three games in a row, but
when I talk about confidence, though, in terms of an athlete, you look at Baker Mayfield. You're looking at a guy who's not the biggest for a quarterback, maybe 6 foot tall, right? Doesn't possess great speed or physical attributes. Not saying he's a bad athlete. He's definitely a good athlete, right? That guy's playing top 10 football easy in terms of quarterbacks right now. No debate about it. And because, do you know, I can't think of a quarterback more confident in his ability than Baker Mayfield. He believes it, right?
I mean, other than maybe Peyton Manning.
Okay.
Or Peyton Manning or Tom Brady. Or something.
But, I mean, those guys' confidence is earned from all the success they had, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Baker has had some success, won a Heisman, but, like, they're talking about a guy who got knocked out of Cleveland, who got basically ran out of town for Deshaun Watson, right?
Got cut from
Carolina, right? And decided, I'm going to take over for Tom Brady. Who takes over for Tom Brady and is successful? It's pretty hard to take over for Tom Brady, right? And he just goes right into Tampa. It's like, wins 3 straight division titles. And his teammates, you can tell, they believe in the guy. Pure confidence, right? That's all it is. There are more skilled players than Baker Mayfield, but the guys that play with him, they want to go to war with that guy. Yeah. Right?
Well, I appreciate you coming on today. We could talk football all day. Yeah, we can. We talk basketball, just about anything, golf.
I can't believe we didn't get to.
Yeah, I know.
You
but
play our fair share of that.
I appreciate you coming on. This was a heck of a podcast. Excited to get back into the coaching game again this year. Hopefully, we can bring Montague JV to. Well, we don't have a championship, but maybe a conference. You can still win a conference title, right?
Hey, deep down, we don't say. I say that as a JV baseball coach. I'm like, there's not a JV conference title, boys, but we're gonna go win it.
Yep.
You know, that's what that was our.
So
last year.
Excited to get back into that with you this year. And good luck as going into baseball as well this upcoming spring. And appreciate you coming on.
Thanks for having me.